At the hotel where our family came to rejuvenate, the kitchen was in chaos. The head chef had a severe backache and apparently couldn't cook.
But we're fully booked today. What are we gonna do about the food?
He was yelling at the reception manager. His voice was a bit rough, maybe because of the pain and frustration. Everyone around us went silent at his shouting. Just then, my daughter, who was next to me, said with a smile,
"Mom can cook, you'll be fine, right, Mom?"
and pulled my hand. Hey, you little. But this one sentence from my daughter would greatly change my life. I'm Lisa, a housewife with 2 young children, leading a bustling life. Looking at the clock, it was 1 p.m. Normally at this time, I would be busy cleaning the house, tidying up dishes, and preparing to go shopping. But today was different.
"Wow, it's amazing, Mom. There's a small creek. Dad, hurry, hurry."
My kids were pointing at the scenery, their eyes sparkling as they walked. My husband and I, laughing, each held a child's hand. It's beautiful, isn't it? But remember, no running here. You could get hurt, and there are other guests around too. Our little ones were tempted by the various sights appearing here and there, but they were able to resist running around and instead held my hand tightly. Today was a family trip. It's been a while since my husband could take a long vacation, so we planned enthusiastically and came to a hotel in the countryside for fun. The hotel was a bit outdated, but it had the beauty typical of old buildings, and the view was quite something. Near the old hotel, construction for a new building was beginning. It seemed this area still had its popularity.
Lisa, look at that view. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. The air is fresh too. I'm glad we came. My husband, perhaps excited, was pointing out various sights to me, like a child.
"I want to ski, Dad."
Yes, we did promise to do that today.
Just as we reached our room, the kids pounced on my husband. We had done our homework and found a small ski resort nearby. As my husband and I were sorting out our luggage, we had to soothe the kids who were about to leave the room.
Lisa, why don't you go ahead and soak in the hot spring?
Really,
They have been looking forward to this so much. Look, I'll take care of the kids. You should let your hair down today.
my husband patted my back. He's busy with work, but on days off he's a great dad who looks after the kids. I took advantage of it. Thank you always.
It's fine. Let's meet up later and have some dinner.
Sure, you have lots of fun too.
You should take this rare alone time and relax.
My husband dressed the kids in fluffy jackets and headed towards the ski resort. I waved goodbye to the kids and decided to head to the big hot spring in the opposite direction. That felt so good. With my body warmed, I walked down the hotel corridor. The hot spring had a few people scattered around, but thanks to its size, I could enjoy it without worrying about others. All right, I got a message earlier. Let's meet up with everyone. As I walked down the long hallway towards the meeting spot with my phone closed, several female employees hurried past me. They were neatly dressed in beautiful uniforms and gave me a bow as they moved aside when passing by. Their black heels created a unique sound that resonated alongside me. The sound was soft but pleasant to my ears. They seem busy. But look at them. The employees are all glowing. I'm a bit envious. Looking at the women, working lively in their pretty uniforms, I couldn't help but feel a bit envious. I wish I could. I was startled by a familiar voice of a child. Before I knew it, my husband and kids had returned from skiing. The kids came running towards me with their faces all red. My husband seemed tired and couldn't stop them from running.
Hey, you're not supposed to run. Oh dear.
The kids ran into someone. They bumped into an elderly couple who were dressed very elegantly. I hurriedly bowed to the couple. "I'm sorry, are you hurt?"
No, we're fine. It's good to see children so energetic.
The couple didn't get mad, but instead spoke kindly to the children.
Sorry, Grandpa, Grandma.
It's all right. Being able to apologize is very admirable.
Are you on a trip with your mom and dad? The couple listened to the kids' stories with a smile. They were very kind people. Both my husband and I were relieved that they weren't injured. We're truly sorry.
No worries. It was just a small bump. Let's both enjoy our trips, shall we?
Yes, please enjoy your time as well. We parted ways with the couple. After scolding the children, my husband and I breathed a sigh of relief. I'm glad they were nice people.
Yeah, now that we're all calm, let's go eat.
Let's go, food.
Once again, my husband and I firmly held the children's hands and lined up for dinner.
This hotel has a great atmosphere.
Yes, it's not exactly new, but it's well maintained and seems to have many long-time fans. Also, I saw in the reviews, the food is carefully prepared and supposed to be very delicious. While we were walking, we took in the scenery. The view was captivating, and we never grew tired of it. Suddenly, my husband patted my back.
Are you sure it was a good decision to quit?
Seems like my gloomy face had given me away. It's fine. Let's go eat.
I wonder what's going on over there.
When I looked in their direction, the kitchen was abuzz.
No, you can't.
Don't push yourself, Chef.
Loud voices could be heard. The voices sounded more like a heated argument than instructions being given. I couldn't help but be curious and went to check on the kitchen. An elderly man, referred to as the chef, was seated in the middle of the kitchen.
Just a little more. See, you're still in pain. The recent cold spell must have aggravated your chronic back pain.
From the looks of it, he seemed to have thrown out his back. It appeared that his chronic back pain had worsened due to the cold. The chef was trying to stand while holding his back.
I'll be able to work if I lie down a bit,
he said, but it seemed like he was having trouble even standing. The reception manager arrived in the chaotic kitchen in a fluster.
You shouldn't overdo it, but we're fully booked tonight. What about the meals?
Well, the chef yelled at the reception manager, perhaps out of frustration from the pain. His voice was a bit rough. His yelling silenced everyone in the vicinity. That's right, the food at this hotel is not famous, but those who know it appreciate its detailed and meticulous preparation. It's not something that can be replicated by imitation.
Grandpa, are you hurt?
I hadn't noticed, but my husband and children had come near the kitchen and were watching the situation. My husband peeped into the tense kitchen. The reception manager noticed the voices of the children and bowed to us.
I apologize for our unsightly situation.
No, that's not. I also bowed in response. Seeing this, my daughter Paris smiled and said to the reception manager,
Auntie, my mom can cook. She's very good at it.
Hey Paris.
My mom's cooking is professional. Dad told me she had an impressive job.
Oh dear.
Despite her busyness, the reception manager took the time to listen to the children. Even though she must have been flustered inside, she made a strong effort not to show it to us. Seeing her, I made up my mind to offer help. Is there anything I can help with?
Huh?
I do have experience cooking in a restaurant. If it's okay, I'll make a dish first, and if the chef likes the taste, I'd be happy to help. The faces of the staff members were full of surprise. The reception manager looked at the chef who had finally managed to sit down. The chef seemed to be struggling a bit, but he nodded while rubbing his back.
I'm sorry, if you wouldn't mind making something. I'm sorry for asking this of a guest.
It's all right. Excuse me, Ben. I felt a bit embarrassed as the reception manager also bowed to me, so I quickly entered the kitchen. A large amount of food was piled up in front of me. When I picked up the ingredients, I felt excited. My hands moved. My mind was trying to remember as my hands moved, but my body remembered surprisingly well, and I was able to cook naturally. I quickly prepared the dish and passed it to the chef and the reception manager.
This is delicious. Oh, such a gentle taste. It suits the atmosphere of our hotel. What a good dish.
The chef bowed deeply to me again, deeper than before. It seems he recognized my cooking skills.
I'm really sorry. Thank you so much.
Chef, your back is still. Please don't push yourself. It's okay. Leave it to me. Since there wasn't much time left, I started cooking right away. Although I slightly modified the contents, I tried to make dishes as close as possible to the original menu. In the kitchen, the chef watched my cooking while nursing his back. The food is not about the cook's ego, but is made with the guests in mind. Considering the easiness to eat, I improvised with the softness of the ingredients and the way they were cut. The chef, nursing his back while seated, watched me. Occasionally, he nodded as he observed me cooking. And so, with the support of the staff and the reception manager, we managed to avoid any major issues, and I successfully completed the cooking.
That's the last one.
We made it. Good job, everyone.
The chef, the kitchen staff, and I all let out a big sigh. The tension in the kitchen that had been palpable seemed to suddenly relax, as if a string had been cut. At that moment, the dining hall staff came in with the dishes they'd cleared away, their faces much brighter than before.
The food is delicious. Everyone's raving about it.
One of our regulars said it's nice to have something different every now and then.
My face turned bright red, and I said, "Thank you." I was embarrassed, but even more than that, I was incredibly happy. After the cleanup, the reception manager and the staff thanked me for my help.
You've really saved us. I don't know how to thank you.
Thank you for your hard work. Thank you.
The reception manager repeatedly bowed to me.
You must be very tired. Please rest for the rest of the day. We'll thank you properly another day. Thank you so much.
No, I'll be leaving then. Good job, everyone. I returned to my room, pleasantly tired. When I quietly opened the door, the children were sound asleep, and my husband was waiting for me. In front of him were wine and snacks.
Welcome back. You must be tired.
I'm back. Sorry. I know it's supposed to be a vacation. I sat down next to my husband.
What are you talking about? The kids loved watching you cook.
What? They were watching?
After they finished eating, they peeked into the kitchen. They thought it was cool to see their mom cooking so seriously.
Is that so? I was pleased to hear this from my husband. Cooking is really fun.
Why don't you go back to it?
My husband suggested, but I shook my head, remembering all sorts of things. No, I don't want to go through all that again. The next day, either the kitchen had calmed down or they'd called in another employee, but I wasn't needed. A proper breakfast was brought to our room.
It looks like they've solved the problem. That's good.
We talked as a family while enjoying a relaxed breakfast. During our meal, the reception manager came to our room.
Thank you so much for yesterday.
No, not at all. I really enjoyed cooking after such a long time.
Well, actually, We have a guest who enjoyed last night's dinner so much that they want to take home some of the stew you made. His name is Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton is one of our regular guests, so could we ask you one last favor?
Really, of course, that's fine. I asked my husband to look after the kids, and I quickly headed to the kitchen. The reception manager told me,
"The guest is waiting, but please take your time."
but I hadn't forgotten the feeling of the previous day, and I ended up going straight to the kitchen. I eagerly started to make the same stew as the day before, and packed it into the container they'd shown me. When I took the package to the reception, the elderly couple my children had bumped into the day before were standing there.
"Oh, from yesterday."
"I'm sorry about my children yesterday."
It's fine, it's fine. I love energetic children."
The elderly couple were surprised when they saw the container I was holding. "Are you Mr. Hamilton?"
"Could it be that you're the one who made this?"
"Yes, that's right."
"We come to this hotel all the time, but the food was a bit different yesterday, especially this stew. It was made tender so that even elderly people like us could easily eat it. It was very tasty and full of heart."
"Thank you. I'm glad to hear you say that."
"Where can we eat your cooking? We'd like to have it again."
"Oh, actually I'm not a chef. I've quit cooking." The moment I said that, the couple's faces fell.
"Oh, is that so? What a shame."
Just then, the reception manager came up to me. Without spending much time greeting the elderly couple, he said,
"About that matter, could you assist us a little longer until the head chef recovers? Your cooking, Lisa, is very popular and the chef thinks your skill is excellent, so we'd love your help."
"What?" I was taken aback, excited at his proposal. But my children and husband's faces quickly flashed across my mind. Could I discuss it with my family first? I went back to our room to talk with my husband.
"Sounds like you've been scouted,"
my husband said cheerily. I sighed in relief seeing his reaction. I was glad he wasn't against it.
"The kids are on winter break now anyway. You could do it for that period. They're not babies anymore. I can't handle them."
"But wouldn't I be imposing on you?"
"We were both working before, weren't we? It'll be fine."
Our children, listening to our conversation, tugged at my sleeve with sparkling eyes.
Mom, are you going to cook again? You were so cool before. Go do your best.
So, with my husband and children's support, I ended up cooking at the hotel for a while. Every day, I received feedback from guests.
"It's easy to eat. It has a nostalgic flavor."
My cooking became popular, especially among the elderly frequenting the hotel. About a week later,
"Oh, thank you so much."
the recovered head chef thanked me. He said he learned a lot from me and was very grateful. "The pleasure is mine. I had a lot of fun cooking again after such a long time." The reception manager shook my hand firmly.
"You can create such delicate dishes. May I ask where you were working before?"
The head chef asked.
"Where was that?"
"I used to be the head chef at Ristorante Carsa." Everyone was shocked. Ristorante Carsa. It was a well-known restaurant locally, a place rumored to be so good that anyone in the industry would know about it.
"At that high-end restaurant?"
Yes, but as a female head chef, I wasn't well received, especially by a sous chef named Sam, who refused to accept my opinions. That's right, I originally worked as a head chef. However, when I actually started working as a head chef, I faced immense difficulties. There were many in the workplace who didn't think well of a female head chef. The job of a head chef is 24 hours, with most of the work during the night, especially for cooking. The process of preparation is very important and time-consuming. At that time, I already had 2 children. Since my husband and I were both working, if our young children suddenly got a fever, I had to go home. Balancing the work of a head chef and childcare was extremely challenging. I'm sorry. My child seems to have a fever. I need to leave a bit early.
Again, this is why women.
When I had to leave early because of my children, the first to make snide comments was the sous chef, Sam.
Women have it easy. You can just use your children as an excuse and leave while we're insanely busy.
That's not
what? It's true. That's why I hate working with women. It's like women don't take the job seriously if they can become head chefs.
Sam always said the same sort of things to me. Hearing it repeatedly, Sam's words always lingered in my mind. After that, Sam started openly harassing me. 1, 2, 3. Wait, the count is off. The ingredients I ordered were short, and this happened repeatedly. Sam was in charge of the orders, so I noticed right away. Sam, you've been messing up orders quite a bit recently. Be careful next time.
I'm doing my job properly. This is why I don't like women. They always blame others.
Whether you're a man or a woman doesn't matter when it comes to ordering. Do your job properly.
Yes. Oh, it's so hard dealing with a female boss who's emotionally unstable.
Sam's attitude kept escalating day by day. The harassment also increased, so I brought up the issue with my superior. It's troubling. His harassment is adding to my workload.
Well, Lisa, you leave early quite often, right? We're also short-staffed. It's hard after you leave early. I don't want to say this, but in this day and age.
My superior didn't take my side. I wanted to work, but I was being interfered with and tasks that weren't my responsibility were being added. I was becoming frustrated with my work not going smoothly. Exhausted, I would go home and still have to do housework.
Mommy, today.
Wait, I'm busy right now. We'll talk later.
Mommy, are you tired? Should we sleep together?
I don't have time to sleep. Be quiet for a bit. I found myself shouting back at my children when they tried to talk to me, but I quickly regretted it and looked at them. When our eyes met after I raised my voice, they quickly looked away with faces on the verge of tears. I had taken my anger out on them. Such little children. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have raised my voice. I hugged my children instantly. They hugged me back right away.
Sorry if we were bothering you while you were working, Mommy.
You were worried about me, weren't you? Thank you both. I'm sorry for shouting.
Let's make up.
My children's faces, which had looked on the verge of tears, suddenly brightened. Seeing my children like that, I decided to try harder again the next day. But my body couldn't keep up. I lost several kilos in a few months and couldn't get a proper night's sleep. I was worried about the next day's work and couldn't sleep. My husband tried to support me as much as he could, but he was also a full-fledged office worker. There was a limit to his support. At first, I enjoyed the job of cooking, but with the increase in work and Sam's verbal abuse, my mind started to get tangled. I started to lose sight of why I was doing this job, and eventually, I became neurotic. I consulted with my husband and quit the job I loved and had admired so much. But coming here, I realized once again how wonderful and fun cooking is. I was able to recognize it as a great job, and everyone here is wonderful too. I'm really glad to have met you all. Before I knew it, my vision was blurred with tears. For some reason, I felt like I wanted to tell everyone at the hotel everything. The reception manager, the head chef, the employees, they all comforted me.
So that's what happened.
The reception manager stroked my back to calm me down. Their hand was very warm, and I felt more tears welling up. But when I checked the time, I wiped my tears away. I picked up the containers I had prepared on the desk and bowed to everyone in the kitchen. Everyone, thank you so much. I'll deliver this to Mr. Hamilton and then go home. I've made a lot of stew, so please eat it if you'd like. And then I went to see the Hamiltons at the reception. The couple was waiting together as usual, looking very friendly. We've become quite familiar with each other, and when they saw my face, they greeted me with a smile. Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton, thank you for today. Today is actually my last day. I've told the head chef how to make this stew you said you loved, so it should be fine even without me.
Lisa, today is your last day.
Yes, it was a short time, but thank you. You gave me the chance to rediscover the joy of cooking. And so I thanked the Hamiltons. When I looked at them, Mrs. Hamilton smiled and grabbed my arm. She talked to me kindly without taking the container.
Would you be interested in cooking again?
Then Mr. Hamilton took the container from me and explained. Mrs. Hamilton pointed to the outside from the reception. There, I could see a new building under construction that I saw when I was traveling.
We're thinking of building a high-end nursing home in partnership with this hotel nearby. We'd love for you to work there as a head chef. What do you think?
We were touched by your thoughtful cooking, Lisa. We want the people who will be staying there to taste that too. But
Are you worried about your children? Don't worry. Of course, we'll support you.
At our nursing home, we make sure it's easy for women to work by having a nursery teacher on site. There, children and the elderly can interact. The couple told me a lot of things. They are chairmen who own several paid nursing homes nationwide. They wanted me to do it. They said they had been thinking of talking to me about it.
Please go home and talk to your husband about it.
I understand that day. I discussed it with my husband, and my husband happily said,
"That's a great opportunity, isn't it? You tend to carry everything on your shoulders, Lisa. But remember, I'm your family too. You can rely on me."
Darling, when my husband and I confirmed the job again, we realized that the hotel was about an hour's drive away, so it wasn't an unreasonable distance. Considering that I enjoyed cooking and the people were good, there was no reason to refuse. A few days later, I contacted the Hamiltons again to let them know that I would love to take on the opportunity. I was starting a new job, and this choice was awaiting an unexpected development. A few months later, I started working as a head chef at a high-end nursing home near the hotel. Like the guests who came to the hotel, the residents' appreciation for my delicious food and their anticipation for it encouraged me. When my work was done, I would go to the hotel to play with my children, soak in the hot springs, and then go home. Those days continued. I still had exchanges with the reception manager and the head chef, and I even started researching new dishes with the head chef. It was a tough job, but compared to the past, there were no people bothering me, and I gradually forgot about Sam, who had been a trauma for me. My life was fulfilling. Then one day, my phone rang. When I looked at the screen, I froze. On the screen was Sam's name. I remembered a lot of things, but I was still at work. Looking around and taking a deep breath naturally calmed me down. I moved to a place where there were no people and answered the phone. "Hello, this is Lisa."
What the hell do you think you're doing?
The moment I answered the call, a familiar voice of rage came through the speaker. My body flinched for a second. "What can I do for you?"
What do you mean what? The Hamilton Group has stopped doing business with us. It's all your fault.
Hearing Sam's words, I realized what was happening. In fact, when I had just started my job, the reception manager told the Hamiltons about me. The Hamilton Group, run by the couple, was also in business with Ristorante Casa and had planned a luxury nursing home construction project. During a casual conversation with the reception manager, the Hamiltons heard about my story. The couple listened to the whole story and then asked me if it was true. Since there was nothing to hide, I explained the circumstances leading to my resignation. Upon hearing this, both of them turned red with anger, their usual elegant faces flaring up. They then decided to investigate Ristorante Casa. They found out that Sam's harassment was still tolerated in the company, and he continued the same behavior. Upon learning of his behavior of bullying people he didn't like and blaming them for mistakes, the couple was even more furious. They decided to void their dealings with Carsa. In the process, Sam's name naturally came up, and he was apparently set to be fired. It seemed that the notice of dismissal had not been given to Sam until now.
It's your fault. How are you going to take responsibility?
Listening to Sam's voice screaming over the phone in a tantrum, my mind grew colder. He sounded like a spoiled little child. Why was I ever afraid of this man? He's not scary at all. After a big sigh audible even over the phone, I sorted out what I wanted to say. "I want to thank you. Because of you, I am who I am now. I wish you the best." Sam was yelling something, but I pulled the phone away from my ear and hung up. And with that same finger, I blocked Sam's contact. I felt a sense of closure with my past, and my mood brightened. As I returned to the kitchen, the other staff greeted me with a smile, saying,
"Good job."
I was glad I hadn't given up on my dream. I might have been discouraged by the harassment at first, but because I didn't give up, I was able to stand here now. I want to continue making my beloved dishes that bring smiles to people's faces. Today, as always, I continue to stand in the kitchen.